Hello, and hello to you. How are y'all doing on today? I hope y'all are having a fantabulous Tuesday. I hope your day is starting off well. And if it ain't, I pray that it gets better because we still got some time in the day. Okay. So before we get into the conversation, you guys already know what to do. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. If you're not following our channels, what are you waiting on? Please go ahead and do that, please. You can follow us by when you come out, just click our name. And if it has that you're not following us, just go ahead and put that follow or subscribe, whichever word it say. It's gonna say follow or subscribe, whichever one it is, that's the one you click, okay? And my channel is Deep Conversation with Sean, and Miss Dina channel is Journey with Dina. So and like the videos, share it out, okay? Liking, sharing the video, also commenting are ways that we get ourselves in the algorithm and we can get us a new church members over here, okay? All right, you guys. So y'all see what it is, y'all see what it is about. We're about to get into a little piece of I think this is a little deep conversation. It's in my title, but I think this is a real deep conversation. But before we get there, Dina, how has it been? We took a little break last week.
So we did, and I talked about that yesterday because I went live yesterday, and my topic was called the unexpected pause. So that's what we had on last week, an unexpected pause. Sometimes God does those things. So it's a different reason why he did it. So we were working, but it's okay not to hold ourselves to a bad standard. It's okay because I was feeling a little bad, but it's good. It's good.
You know what? Speaking on that a little bit, I don't know if anybody watched or even heard of the YouTube channel or podcast or whatever the name may be called. It's called the Hardly Initiated channel. And they've been gone for like 3.5, almost 4 months. They just been gone. They ain't give no reason why. They just stuck the deuces and was like, we up out this mug. And but from listening to them, they built their channel up amazingly. Like, man, they really, really built their channel up because they started in one direction, but it ended up going to a totally different direction. The Lord really got into their podcast because they started off on some mess. Let me tell y'all, okay? It really started with some mess and it really shifted to something else. But anyway, my point was, as they were talking, they came back last week to kind of explain where they've been and why they did this and the third, and they end up taking a sabbatical, in the process. And one of the things that they were talking about was how it is to come and do something every day or multiple times out the day, and how it can start to kind of affect your life, not in a bad way, but it kind of becomes draining. So I will say this, if you see us taking a break, or we've been gone for 2 weeks, know that sometimes that maybe life may be life, and know that sometimes that some things has arise and it just not working, it didn't happen that way. But no, we'll be back, okay? And that's the moral of the story, to know that we will be back. And I think sometimes when you give yourself over to something like this so much, it does, people do feel a little bit entitled and be like, where y'all, how dare y'all not come back? You be like, okay, hold on, just hold it just a moment. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, you're right because I did get a phone call. Like, so y'all coming? I was like, so I'm in the middle of doing a job, so no, we're not gonna be on tonight.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Yeah, so I get it. I honestly get it. And I'm gonna say this, I think it's a blessing. Let me make that very clear, that people are in tune with us, that they like, we don't want to miss a beat. I want y'all here every week. So I don't want y'all to take it that we're complaining, because that's not that. It is very much a blessing in it. But I did want to offer a behind the scene thing when it comes to not seeing us all the time. Okay. But all right, you guys, let's get into it. We're going to talk about it matters who you marry, or do it? I should have put, does it matter who you marry? I may go in and change it and say, let me do it now. Let me make the people think a little bit. But does it matter? Does it? What you think, Dana? Does it matter who you marry? Come on.
I think it does.
Okay.
And for me, I've just seen some different light in why it matters within the last month. It made me sit back and say, if they would have married this person, this wouldn't have went that way. So it made me scratch my head, but it made me be more intentional about my prayer to the Lord, right?
Amen.
So here I go telling my business already. I'm telling everybody business that's attached to this story, right? So when we initially talked about this, right? So my dad ended up having a procedure done, right? And it was during the time we were iced in. And I was supposed to take him to have the procedure done. But they don't want to slide on no ice. Ain't no sense to me tearing my car up and almost throwing us somewhere. So I asked my brother-in-law to take my dad. And he's like, okay, fine. So he ended up taking my dad to his doctor's appointment and stayed there with him. And the same day they went to the doctor's appointment, my parents, they heat went out, right? So I called my client that lives up the street, and I said, hey, can your husband go down there and look at my mom and them fireplace to get their fireplace turned on because they ain't got no heat and my dad in the hospital. She was like, sure, I'll go ahead and tell Eddie. We were just putting our shoes on finna go out the house and get lunch. So in that moment, I was like, if my sister would have been married to this type of man who was willing to drive my dad to his procedure, how would my dad get there? Then I put it, if this lady's husband wasn't the type of man that he was to put her in the car and to drive to my mom's house, turn the fireplace on. It wasn't broke, they just didn't know how to use it because they don't use it. To take the time to do that and show my sister how to turn it on, how to turn it off. I mean, he made a video of it. He taught her how to do it and everything. Then they left and went to the store and they was like, your mama need anything? This, that, and the other. She was like, well, Eddie said, call your mama, ask her if she need this, that, and the other. And I was like, it matters who you marry. Because had they married somebody who did not care about family, did not have the characteristics that they have. I talked about when I put in my title, I put character over chemistry. If they didn't have empathy for people to help, and it made me realize that, when we were younger and we thinking about getting married and stuff, we don't really think about long term. So now in my mind, you need to make sure that you are asking the Lord and marrying somebody who's going to be there for the long haul, that's going to be able to help me. So my prayer had changed that the person be able to help me with my parents, whether it be financially, physically, or even, vice versa, or even with each other, because you don't really think about that, because you're young. When you get married, most of the time you're healthy. So you're not thinking about how much that spouse plays a part in their role when your parents get old and stuff. Because I've seen a lot of people have to take their parents in, and it's easier when your spouse is willing and they're able to help you do that. And so that really did something to me, for just those two people to be in sync and who they married. And I kept saying, it matters who you marry. And I talked about that for 2 weeks straight and to them about it, not even intentionally, but I kept on saying that. And then what was the kicker is 2 weeks after that, I never told my mama anything about it, right? So my mama sent me this video. And when I clicked on the video, the first thing the lady said was, it matters who you marry. I was like, okay, Lord. I just, I thought I was just saying it because for it just stirred in my spirit, and it just kept on stirring and kept on stirring. So I listened to the video, and this is lady that I follow, Sophia Ruffin, and she talked about how she was at this event, right? And she said her mom, she was at an event with her god sister and her godmom, and her godmom was honoring her sister. And she was speaking over her sister, saying all these good things that she was honoring her, which is what her mom used to do. But her mom died in 2021. Mm-hmm. So she said she got ready to have a moment. But before she can have her moment, her husband leaned over to her and started rubbing her leg and consoling her. And she said she looked and she asked him, how did you know I needed consoling at that time? How did you know that I was about to have a moment? Because I really didn't even know what was about to happen. He said, I didn't. I just leaned into God. God told me to lean into your wife, to console your wife. He said, I didn't know what he was talking about. I just did what he said. And that's what she was saying. It matters who you marry. Because when he had an ear to hear what God was telling him to do, that's what he did, even though he didn't understand it. So that covering that she has, she always talks about how it matters who you marry. And that just blew my mind. You know, I'm just like, that just did something for me. So that's how that came.
And I will agree with that. And let me add on to that, because why it does matter. And like Dina, she made a good point. The key point that I want to definitely point out was the future part. I think we definitely get caught up in the right now. He needs to be 6'5", at least 6 feet. He needs to be boop pop pow, busting through the shirt. He needs to, make all this money, or at least enough to sustain the household. And we have all of these artificial things on our list, but we're not concerned on is he's a good father. Can he be a good father? We haven't added on what is his relationship like with his parents, his siblings. We don't add on, we look at everything from an artificial standpoint, and never look at things in the future. And some of these things may sound trivial, but it really do makes a difference, as in, if what do retirement look like? If y'all not even on the same page for retirement, baby, I don't know how y'all gonna make it, because we can look at now, but the goal is to grow old with each other. That's right. The goal of marriage, to grow old. Even the vow says to death do us part. So when we're union and yoked together, what does it look like 20 and 15 years from now? Have the conversations. Because a lot of this, and we've been saying this when it's been surrounded with our friends, but once we enter into the dating world, have the conversations. What do that look like? How do that feel? How, hey, I'm a big, part of my mother's life, my father's life. I'm with them all the time. I help them. And if he's like, oh, no, you do too much, baby, go and cut him short. Because if that is a priority for you, that needs to be a priority for him. And vice versa. If he come to you and say, well, Dina, hey, I take my mama to Kroger's every Friday. Dina better not let the words come out herself. You know they got Uber. You know they got Uber. The Matter bus still runs. It's still run. And this is not to say that you put your parents above your spouse. I don't want nobody to take my words and mix it all together, because I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm not saying that at all. But there is a time to where, especially as we get older, guess what our parents are doing?
Getting older.
They don't stay the same age. So the things that they would normally do on their own, they get to the point they can't do that no more. And I'm basing it around parents, because that's what Dina opened it up with and was giving her example about. So that's why I'm basing it around that. But just as we getting older, guess what? They're getting older. They ain't gonna be able to drive. They ain't gonna be able to, do certain things that they used to, not the megabus, that they used to do. That they used to do. They're not able to do those things, and especially when they stop working. Now they're on a fixed income.
Right. Right.
They need you to slide them $20,
Right.
and not from a place of, well, I know your Social Security check come on the 13th. I hope to have my $20 back. No,
Right.
no. So it does matter about in every aspect. Can they pray for you when you are weak and they are strong, and vice versa? Is it a point to where, hey, I don't know if I can, whatever the case may be. We could throw so many scenarios out there, right? But it does boil all the way down to it. It matters who you marry, because really, y'all really are a reflection of each other. Because once you get married, the Bible tells us that you're no longer two, you're one. So it don't matter if John say he like to go to the club and buck the, and da 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 da. They're gonna say, no, both y'all be clubbing. You gonna say, no, that's him. It's gonna show on both of y'all. They not gonna separate y'all. They're gonna put y'all together. So, but yeah, what you got, Dina?
Listen, I'm still on it. Like, I'm still on, and I guess I'm on the parent part, because like both of my parents, because this is what I have seen lately. Like when I say within a couple of months, and I'm used to my dad being the one up and around and being able to do things and drive my mom. And right now he's down. So when I say my brother-in-law has stepped up to, it has blown my mind. I'm talking about even from cooking. He cooks for them. He, whatever they need from the store. My daddy had him there. He don't supposed to be driving. He had him driving him around to his job, as he's the supervisor, but he got my brother-in-law driving him around. But like, he was like, I can't go out of town. We went to the Bahamas for Thanksgiving last year. He was like, nah, I can't go. I can't leave mom and pop. I gotta cook Thanksgiving for them. I'm like, what? But it made me feel good that this is the type of man that my sister married. So if I'm seeing what he's doing for them now, I have no question in my mind that he's gonna take care of my sister when she gets older, and they're gonna take care of each other, vice versa. And it just, to me, it made me look and think and realize that I'm talking about, he take him to his doctor's appointments. He called him Pop and called my mama now, because recently his mom passed on last year. And his mom passed like in October, right after my birthday. And his mom and my mom, they were really, really tight. And whenever we would have anything, she would come over to the house, and she was always a good time. And so even with that, I feel like everything that has happened, it has been, of course, part of God's plan for my mom and dad to be there. Because I remember one day he woke up and he posted, and he was like, I can't believe I don't have any parents. And from that day, he's like, he has been transitioning slowly to taking on my mom and dad, which says a whole lot about him in itself. And so that just made me sit and look and realize, and even see like other people who's married and not stepping up and kind of doing the same things. And I'm like, man, it really matters who you marry. If she would just marry some little knucklehead, I don't know what my daddy would have did or how this would have worked, but it worked out. So it just made me add some more things to my prayer, and even talk to other people that is not married, and give them that same, let me put this on your mind, because God put it on me for a reason. And when I say I stuck hold to that for 2 weeks, everybody I talked to. And I finally ended up telling my mom about it when she ended up texting me that message. I said, you don't even know what this did for me. And because it was only confirmation to what I had been saying. So I know that was of God, that the reason why I was saying that. And she was like, and I started not to send it to you. She said, I put my finger on it. Then I said, no, I ain't going to send it. Then she said, I put my finger on it again. And then I ended up sending it to you. I was like, but I'm glad you did, because that was a confirmation for me. And so that just made me sit and really realize that it matters who you marry. Not to just marrying somebody just because y'all look good or the aesthetic. it matters, even a part of your purpose, a part of ministry, your destiny, even business wise. Like, it matters because people don't even realize. I talked to a couple of people that are in business with their spouses, some good and some like that ain't working for us. But it matters all around the board. And it's just not talking about, the physical part of it. This the whole part of it. Raising kids, your nieces and nephews, like, it's a lot. And I just want to put it on your mind when y'all come across this video tonight, that if you are not married and you are still in that waiting period where you are waiting well, to add that to your list. Y'all had that list, even though y'all ain't never tore it up. Add it to your list, put it at the top of your prayer, that God, I know it matters who I marry, so send me who you want. That's my new prayer. Don't send me what I want, because what I want ain't working right. So send me who you want. Okay.
And I'll say this, y'all know I love giving out homework. And just to add on to it, make for our single women and men out there, make a list. But now let's make a realistic list. But not only the realistic part of it, but the things that you honestly desire and want. If you want somebody, again, it matters who you marry. If you want somebody that is nice, who's kind-hearted, because most people who have a lot of money may sometimes really be some of the meanest people.
And arrogant.
And Eric, thank you. They have the money, but they mean, they nasty, they obnoxious. There are all of these things. So if you're wanting somebody, make sure it goes together, because God will turn you over to the stuff that you're praying for. And he'll told you don't need that. But if you keep asking for it, he'll turn you over to it. It's in the Bible. He said he'll turn you over to a probate mind. It's there, okay? And he'll turn you over to it. And then you get in it. And now you praying to him again. He said, daughter dear, I told you this ain't what you want. But make sure you add all of the intricate parts of what you're looking for. You do need somebody that can cover you in prayer. You do need somebody that's not only financially able, but
willing,
don't mind helping, giving to the poor, giving to people in need. That we need a giving heart. We are meant to be a blessing to other people.
Especially if you're a giver. You can't be no giver and you give with a man that's stingy. Every dime you give, what you giving it to them for?
Right. They question it. Going back, it matters who you marry.
In more ways than one. Okay.
Let's just make it trivial. Before we get to the deep part, let's make it trivial. If you a health nut and he's not, it don't work. And this also goes to the part where now you're becoming unequally yoked. That's why it matters who you marry. If he like to go to Bedside Baptist every Sunday and you like to be in the actual building, it matters who you marry.
Because that's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem.
And don't talk about it's going to change.
It don't change. And it can. God can do anything.
I'm just about to say that's going to be the only way that it changes, and it's going to be because of God, not you. I was talking to my friend girl earlier today, and I learned when a man, or especially a man, we're going to talk about a man, when he say something, he mean what he said. Ain't no changing him. Ain't no, he was just playing. No, he said what he said. And the only time he going to change is if God changes him. Now, God can change him, but that's not your job to change him, because it is what it is.
And let me add this part on here. I'm going to say this. When it comes down, and it's two different things. If you're already in a position to where you have a relationship with Christ, you're saved, you sanctified, and you have a relationship with Christ, you need to get somebody who has those same qualities as you. Now, if you are already married, and neither one of y'all was saved, and one end up getting saved before the other one, you make that on your prayer list to say, Lord, I need my husband or my wife to catch up with me. I have made the change. I need him or her to catch up. But if you're already in a position that where you have Christ and you're this and that, don't go get nobody from the club. It ain't gonna work, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, baby. He'll pull you into the darkness before you will ever be able to pull him into the light.
You better get out my mind. You better get out my mind, because that's exactly what was in my mind. If you ain't gonna pull, it's either he gonna pull you or you gonna pull him.
And he ain't. And let me tell y'all, and that ain't because God ain't all awesome and mighty. I ain't saying that because y'all like to twist words, not y'all, but y'all, you know. And you'll get pulled before he would, because he's the husband. You're gonna listen. You're having sex with him. Come on, baby, let's drink a little bit. No, you don't drink. Come on, baby, that's good. You know, I thought we'll go to a hookah lounge. But because it's my husband, and he gonna pull you before you'll ever get a chance to pull him. So don't put yourself in this situation. That's all I'm asking. That's all don't do it to yourself.
Because why? It matters who you marry.
It matters. And God is sufficient enough to give you everything and then some. He can blow your mind. Stuff that you ain't even think to put on your list. He saw fit because he's the Father. He knows your heart. He knows your desire. He knows your needs. He knows your wants. He knows the unspoken things. The words that you didn't even utter, but the tears uttered for you. He knows it.
Let me get an offering plate.
He knows it. So we don't have to be shy with God. So when you write your list, be as intimate and detailed as possible. Ain't no point of thinking it. He know what you think. Y'all favorite line anyway is God know my heart, baby. Y'all
know my heart.
That's y'all favorite line. When y'all want to sin. That's when y'all want to say it. When you want to sin, God knows my heart. That's the only time he know your heart is when you're ready to sin or have sin. But when you need to put God to the test to show that he really is a big, big God, now you don't trust him to say, God knows my heart. He knows the intimate. He knows it. Give it to him. Because it really does matter who you marry. I'm done, Dina. You can send us on out.
Well, you guys, there you have it. She asked the question, does it matter who you marry? And I say it does. And she says it does as well, right? So just be intentional on your potential, right? Continue to wait well. Continue to have patience, because patience is definitely needed, right? Because love is patient, love is kind. So don't be moved because it doesn't happen when you want it to, okay? Yeah. So continue to wait well, continue to make out your intimate list with the Lord. Have a conversation with the Lord and tell him some things. He listening, he want to hear from you tonight, all right? So make that your homework tonight, because you know Sean always give us homework. So your homework for tonight is write out your list of the things that you desire, the things that you hope for, and the things that you are praying and looking for. And then once you write out your list, I'm going to give you another added step to it. Write your letter to your dear future spouse. Write the letter, fold it up, and put it in your Bible, okay? Let it marinate in there. And then we're going to talk about it on next week, okay? So until next week, that's all we got for you.
All right, you guys. Y'all got it. We'll see you guys, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.